Yes, that's why I clapped, because we're on my favorite sequel in the franchise, Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. Yes, or The Return of Michael Myers, released in 1988, 10 years after the original. That's that's how it's set up, you know. That's how it's set up because well, I'll get to that in a second. So yes, the fourth one in the It's the fourth one in the franchise after number 3, Season of the Witch. But to me, believe this should have been number 3. Um, it was released, so October 21st, 1988, and this time it was directed by Dwight H. Little, which he's directed films he's directed films I know. He directed Not only did he after this film, he directed the next year, 1989. He directed did a different version of The Phantom of the Opera. That's the one that starred Robert Englund, who was Freddy Krueger. He played the Phantom of the Opera. So Dwight H. Little, he directed that film. He also directed the Steven Seagal film Marked for Death. And then he directed Rapid Fire with Brendan Lee, the late Brendan Lee. And he directed Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, the sequel after the first Anaconda, which was alright. He directed a film that was based on a video game called Taken in 2009, and that was a flop. And he also directed those films. He also directed Free Willy 2: The Adventure Home. So yeah, he directed films that are that people will know, like Free Willy 2 or Anacondas or Marked for Death and Rapid Fire. So he directed this film. This time, as I said, it's Donald Pleasence. He comes back as Dr. Loomis. He stars Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris. And the film takes place 10 years well, even though technically, yeah, Halloween 2 was 1981, but it was still set in 1978 of the first film. So it's 10 years after the first 2 films. Because after that explosion, he survived the explosion, but since then he's been in a coma for 10 years. And he's gonna be transported to so he's like another sanatorium, and he's going to get transferred to another one. But then, as he's in the hospital, you know, the 2 people in the back, they're discussing, you know, that while they're in there, they said that Laura Strode she died in a car accident. But you know, the series that she was still alive, so she faked her death, you know. So, but then he learns that he has a niece, which was played by Danielle Harris, Jamie Lloyd, who has been adopted into the Lloyd family. The Lloyd family, Jamie Lloyd. So he learns that he has a niece, and right away, while they're in the middle, cutting right in the middle of a guy saying a sentence, because all of a sudden my wife just grabs his head and just bashes his head back and forth and sticks his thumb into his forehead. I was like, ah, man, you know, I thought it was like a creepy thing. Just sticks his thumb into his forehead, just like that forcibly. Ugh. So yeah, that was a good thing. And this one I thought was different, you know, because Michael Myers, he killed people in some pretty cool ways, you know. There was a couple of kills that he killed, you know, in a couple of different ways. Like once, you know, I saw like stick his thumb into that guy's forehead. But then off screen, you know, off screen, found the ambulance crash into a riverbank, and it goes to young Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. She's having nightmares, seeing what she calls she's seeing the boogeyman, you know. Doesn't know, she doesn't know, well, maybe she does, because at school, at school the kids are teasing her, saying that she knows that Michael Myers is her uncle. You know, your uncle's the boogeyman. You know, the boogeyman's gonna get you. Your uncle is the boogeyman. But she's having nightmares, and she has a little box. She has a little box with her that had pictures of Laurie Strode in it. You know, her mother. Um, so her stepsister, Rachel, played by Ellie Cornell, you know, tells her there's nothing to be scared of. You know, they're just nightmares. And then Donald Pleasence comes in. Again, he survived the explosion too. He just has like burn marks on the side of his face and his hand. He knows that the guy in charge there moved him, but you really shouldn't, you know, should let him sit there, you know. Then they get a call to Max, and he knows what's happened, so they drive over there, and all the people, the ambulance are all dead, you know, and the van's upside down in the river bank. He knows that Michael Myers is alive now. He goes into the drive towards Haddonfield, and then Michael Myers, he kills two people at the gas station. You know, he kills a mechanic, gets his overalls, and Donald Pleasence says he's trying to fill this gas. He sees that the people in there are dead. He sees Michael Myers, tells him that, you know, he waited so long. It's been 10 years. Tells him to leave the people in Haddonfield alone. You want another victim? Take me, you know. But please don't leave those people in peace, Michael. He gets his gun. God damn you! But all of a sudden he gets into the tow truck and he's like, Michael! The tow truck crashes through the door and he's shooting at him. Runs over the gas pumps, causing the place to explode and his car to explode. And the flames, destroys the telephone lines, so there's no telephone and he has nowhere to drive. And there's finally he's walking on foot on the road, and get these people, these kids, you know, the cheerleaders, you know, telling him, oh, come on. And of course the kids, you know, they'll do a mean thing, you know, they just, as he gets close to the car, they just go and drive off, leaving him there. But then he gets stopped by an old, like a reverend, you know, who's a drinker, you know. He gives him a ride. I believe I've seen that guy before. Who the little reverend guy? I just can't place him. He looked familiar, but I just can't place the name. Let me just look. I just want to see that. Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that guy before. He was in Escape from New York, and he was also in Alligator. He was also in Alligator 2: The Mutation. If you've seen Alligator, I did a review for Alligator, but I didn't do a review for the second one because there was no DVD or, you know. But in Alligator 2: The Mutation, he was the homeless guy who was walking in the sewer. He sees his friend get killed, and he gets whacked by the alligator tail against the wall. That was that guy. That's why I thought he looked familiar. Yeah, he plays the old reverend guy who gives Don Pleasance a lift. So then also back in town, Ellie Cornell takes Jamie to a store, you know, to get a costume. She wants to go trick or treating, and they drive past the tow truck that Michael Myers was driving, so he's already in town. As they're in the store, as Jamie is picking out a costume, it was a clown costume. He grabs a mask, puts it on, scares her. You know, he runs back into a mirror and shatters it. And then Donald Pleasence, he goes to the police station and tells her that Sheriff Beck retired. You know, and they got a new sheriff played by Meeker, played by Bo Starr. He gives him the stat about Michael Myers, but they know about it, you know. Tells him that the little girl is in danger. And then also like a group of men, you know, in a bar, they heard that Michael Myers is in town, so they go out and look for him on the hunt. Pardon me. the Donald Pleasence, Loomis, and the Sheriff Meeker, they go and visit Jamie's house, and he goes upstairs. It's saying that he sees the pictures on the floor. Tells that Michael Myers has been here because earlier Michael Myers was already in the house. He was looking at pictures too, and tells the sheriff that he's been here, and how can you tell? And he looks in the closet. There is a dead dog. The family's dog is dead, just right in there, like. So he killed that dog, and Ellie Cornell was taking Jamie Lloyd trick or treating, and Michael Myers kills a worker who was working at a power plant. Tells him to leave, but Michael Myers throws the guy to one of the power things. He gets electrocuted, and the power shuts down over the entire neighborhood. Danielle Harris of Jamie Lloyd, she walks away from walked away from Ellie Cornell, but she finds she finds her and Donald Pleasence there, and there's a couple of teens posing as Michael Myers playing a joke. They go to Rachel's boyfriend's. Well, they go up to the sheriff's house where his daughter is with the sheriff's daughter is with Rachel's boyfriend, because she said like earlier there's no, I have to take her sister trick or treat and cancel her date, so he decides to go with the sheriff's daughter, and he gets in trouble with Rachel, sees that. Well, but also before that too, that Donald Pleasence and the sheriff, they go back to the police station. They find the police station all torn up, and they find a couple officers dead. But as they're back in the house, they try to lock all the doors and windows. They get a radio to send out for like the state troopers to come out here. Tells them Michael Myers has returned, and the sheriff's daughter that they see one of the deputies who's supposedly sitting on a rocking chair with a shotgun, right? And she lights a candle and finds right in front of her the deputy is dead like this. And Michael Myers takes a shotgun and just jams up the girl through the stomach and pins her against the door. So yeah, like I said, Michael Myers killing people in a couple cool ways. Okay, so instead of shooting her, it just shoves like a shotgun right through her stomach, And Rachel goes down and sees the two dead bodies, and what's his name, Brady, her boyfriend Brady, played by Sasha Jensen. I like this guy. He was fine in this movie, Sasha Jensen. Then they find Jamie, and sees Michael Myers, tries to shoot him, but as he tries to reload, Michael Myers takes a gun and just hits him in the head. Tries to punch him, grabs his hand, just lifts him up, and snaps his neck. Then that was a good sequence where Rachel and Jamie, they go onto the roof, and the roof is a little slippery. They slip a bit. Then Rachel tries to lower Jamie down with her wire from the roof. She falls off the roof because Michael Myers gets on the roof, and when he was in the attic, he gets a knife. So he gets on the roof too, and he tries to kill Rachel, but she falls off the roof and passed out. Danielle Harris runs away. Donald Pleasence finds her. They go to the school. The alarm goes off. And Michaels throws Dr. Loomis through a glass door, and Jamie, she runs and she falls down the stairs, but Rachel comes up with a fire extinguisher, sprays at him. Then a couple of men that are out hunting Michael, they give Jamie and Rachel a lift in the truck, and the three guys are in the back. So they go on the highway, and somehow Michael Myers manages to get climb on the trucks. He manages to sneak on the truck without the three guys knowing. They would probably, to me, I probably would have noticed there was someone was trying to get on the truck. But they don't hear, and the three guys they get thrown off the truck, and then Michael Myers comes up, reaches his hand, and kills the driver named Earl. Rips his throat out like this, like that. That was a good kill. Just goes and sees his hand, just rips the guy's throat out. But then Rachel's driving the truck, tosses the body out, and she's just swerving. Michael Myers is on top of the truck. She brakes, and he falls forward. And he gets up, and she goes and runs him over. He dies, son of a bitch, and hits him. He falls back again to like I think it was like a graveyard. I think it was. Then the state troopers come, but Jamie walks towards Michael's body, and she takes his hand, tells him to get away from him. As he starts to walk away, tells her to get down, and then he starts shooting at him with shotguns. Everybody's shooting at him, and then all of a sudden he just falls into this pit, right? He falls in this pit, and all stuff falls in, and that's it. They think he's dead and buried. Even Donald Pleasence like buried where he belongs. Michael Myers is in hell now. So as the stepmother, the foster mother, takes Jamie Lloyd upstairs, but as she's like getting the bathtub ready, then you see from Jamie's point of view, she puts on the mask, the clown mask. It's just like how Michael Myers, when he was a kid in the first film, how he killed his sister, with the clown, right, with the butcher knife. But she does pretty much the same thing to his stepmother. So she takes a pair of scissors, and then she screams, but you don't see it though. Then Donald Pleasence goes to the stairs, looks up on the stairs, goes, "No, no!" And you see that Jamie Lloyd is standing on top of the stairs with the bloody scissors in her hand, Then the Rachel, the sheriff, and the stepfather, they all look up the stairs in horror. And Dr. Loomis, he's like, "No, no." To me that was like a unique ending in this. That was a very cool ending in this. That was like to me that was like I think it was like one of the best parts of the film was. So that was really special about it was the ending of this. Because how it was at the ending. When Jamie Lloyd did it, now you thinking that she's gonna be the killer. She's gonna be the next Michael Myers. She's gonna be the one doing the killing now. But unfortunately, they messed it up with the sequel, which I'm gonna get. Oh man, I'm just really gonna get into that. Number 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. That, to me, that just messed up a very unique ending. They just screwed that up. Which I'll get to that in the next review. But I'm going to see how I'm going to get into the film's reception. Well, the film the film was number 1 for 2 weeks. So that was good, but it was a $5 million budget. It was a little bit more, but it only made $17 million. It only made $17 million in the U.S. It was a bit higher than Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. To me, yeah, it was kind of a disappointment because it was Michael Myers' return, but it only made $17 million. To me, it should have been a bigger hit, because after a long time, especially after Season of the Witch, this is Michael Myers' return, the return of Michael Myers, but didn't make the big bucks, sadly. And of course, the film has a 20, and it has 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was much more lower than Halloween 2, because what I said had 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. This Halloween 4 has 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. I just don't get it. And it has the rating was much even lower than the number 2. It has a 5.7 on IMDb, while number 2 was 6.3. Well, I even mentioned that currently Halloween 3 is Season of the Witch. Has a much more lower on IMDb. It has a 4.2. I think it deserves even lower. But also, to my amazement, that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is much more higher than Halloween 2, and 4. That is not. It deserves lower than that. Even I can't believe it's higher than Halloween 2 and 4. They're both are more than 3 times as better as number 3. I just don't get it, you know. I mean, Halloween 2 is a great sequel, and Halloween 3 was not that great at all because Michael Myers was not in it. That's how that's why a lot of critics and fans did not like that film, because Michael Myers was not in it. But when that came out, you know. And that doesn't make the big bucks, and pretty much the people it gets 26% on Rotten Tomatoes and 5.7. People just don't like this. I just don't get it. It deserves higher on those ratings, because this is pretty much like my 2 and 4 always be my favorite sequels in the franchise. And I was looking. I think that at least with Halloween 4, it was nominated for 2 Saturn Awards for best horror film and best writing. So it was good enough for it to get those, though. But that was not enough, though. I just don't know. I think this film, like Halloween 2 and 3, got a special collector's edition from Screen or Shout Factory. I'm not sure if this got a collector's edition, though. But if it does, I would like to get that. But I just don't know why this film just wasn't that big, you know, on ratings and box office. Because this was such a great sequel, you know. Because if it was like 10 years, Michael Myers' return, though. But well, anyway, well, what do I know? This is my personal opinion. I think it deserves bigger ratings, and it deserved much more box office than 17 million. But anyway, that's just, like I said, great, good kills, great ending, unique ending, I should say, because it was like one of the great endings and one of the great endings among horror films, you know. But I'm gonna get to the next sequel that's really screwed number 4 over, especially the ending. So stay tuned and stay for that piece of crap film, Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers. So stay tuned for that, and I'm gonna enjoy that review. Later.